On this week's Weekly Scoop, Greg, we're talking about how much the BBC people get paid, and Doctor Who is a lady. This is the Weekly Scoop, Greg.
Yes, this is the show where we do all the looking at other people's internet news and etc. And then we take it all and then we tell you, so you don't have to look at everyone else's stuff. Sure, I shouldn't have said that, should I? Just move on, Jason. Just move on.
Greg.
Yes?
This week, we have found out how much the top earners at the BBC are getting paid.
Haven't we just?
It's been all over the news here in the UK about how much people are getting paid at the BBC, and what it's highlighted is the gap between pay between men and women at the BBC. For instance, Chris Evans, popular radio host, not as popular on Top Gear, but that's another story, gets paid between £2.2 and £2.6 million a year. Now, the highest paid woman at the BBC, woman presenter, is
We do more work than that.
Claudia Winkleman, and she only gets paid around £400,000 to £500,000 a year. I say only, still a lot of money, but not as much as Chris Evans himself.
But, to his defence a little bit here, doesn't he do a lot more stuff?
Well, he does the radio morning breakfast show.
Yeah.
I think he does the one show every now and again.
Yeah, and he hosts like the charity events, doesn't he?
I don't know.
Maybe it was because of Top Gear, because he was such a success. He deserves a pay rise.
But Claudia Winkleman hosts the Culture Show on Radio 2. She also does film on BBC One and also hosts Strictly Come Dancing every Saturday night in the winter. So she does quite a lot as well, doesn't she, Greg?
Give her a pay rise.
Yeah, I would.
She does it. You would what?
Give her a pay rise.
Oh, right, sorry.
Or Doc Chris Evans' pay.
Oh, yeah, he deserves it.
But some surprises on there, like Jeremy Vine gets paid almost £1 million a year, £700,000 to £800,000 a year. The Lineker, Gary Lineker, is on
The Lineker?
The Lineker on £1.7 million a year.
See, he does do a lot, though.
Now, here is where the statistics don't really work, because according to the BBC's list, Graham Norton only gets paid between £850,000 and £899,000 a year. But Graham Norton actually gets paid a lot more than that. But what the BBC haven't included in their figures are money from outside production companies. So they're the companies that produce shows for the BBC and pay the stars directly. So there you go, Graham Norton is probably at the top of the list, I would have thought. How much do we get paid for this, Greg? Not a lot.
Well, nothing.
Exactly. We do it for the love of it. Perhaps Chris Evans should too.
You said then, without everyone knowing, Chris Evans.
Chris Evans. Doctor Who is a lady, Greg. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
You just said it. That's right. A female has taken over the lead role in Doctor Who in the 13th version of the Doctor since it started.
Since it started?
I
wonder
exactly,
if she's.
Greg.
I wonder what money she's on, Jason.
Who knows? They haven't released that, have they? Because she's only just been appointed, and they've only just released the.
Yeah. You like Star Wars, don't you, Jason?
I do, yes.
Do you like Doctor Who then?
I do like Doctor Who, but I haven't been a big fan of Peter Capaldi. I know that's going to divide opinion, but I haven't been a big fan.
Here's what I divide opinion. I've never watched it and never intend to.
Jodie Whittaker has become the 13th Doctor in a big announcement after the men's final of Wimbledon last Sunday.
Why?
I don't know why it was chosen to be announced then, but that's when it was announced. Now, what has I've enjoyed more is the internet's reaction to a lady being made the Doctor. For instance, there was a tweet by someone called Ryan S. Taylor who said, "If you think Doctor changing gender is unrealistic, I've got some bad news about aliens, time travel and regeneration." See, he's saying that that's unrealistic too, Greg. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So many great Doctor Who's over the years. Hard to choose just one.
Well, I couldn't tell you one.
Go on, name one.
Wasn't Bruce Willis one?
Yes, he was, Greg.
I thought so, yeah.
Another person tweeted, "Oh great, a female Doctor Who. What next? Female real doctors, female pilots, female scientists, female sisters and mothers, female women."
It's gone a bit nuts, isn't it? This.
It's ridiculous. It doesn't really matter that the Doctor is a woman, does it, Greg?
Well, it won't matter to me because I still won't watch it.
I am sure that she is going to do just as good a job as Peter Capaldi or any other Doctors have done so far.
Well, in your own, she can't do any worse. You just said.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. I will be tuning in to the first episode to see how it goes.
I won't.
Did you ever play the Mega Man games on the Nintendo?
Yeah.
Good games, weren't they?
Good game.
Lots and lots of people also played those games, and they're a very popular franchise. I don't know why I felt the need to say popular twice then, but I did.
Or spray it, in fact.
Greg, Mega Man is being turned into a movie.
Mega Man movie?
Yes.
That sounds megatastic.
It comes from the Hollywood Reporter, who state that 20th Century Fox are adapting Capcom's Mega Man and they're moving forward. It will be helmed by the duo responsible for the documentary Catfish and the underrated Nerve, as well as footage horror films Paranormal Activity 3 and 4. You want to watch them because you don't do horrors, do you, Greg?
Nope.
They tried to acquire the rights for the Mega Man franchise for years now, but they finally secured them earlier this year, and reports suggest the studio has brought in Peter Chernin, Mike Ireland and Ryan Harrigan to produce the movie. Who will play Mega Man?
Well, it's going to be quite difficult finding someone to look like that, isn't it?
Yes.
I think it'll be CGI.
Do you?
Yeah, I've just got a feeling.
We'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing what develops with the Mega Man movie. Try saying that 3 times fast.
Mega Man movie, Mega Man movie, Mega Man movie.
All right. Smart ass.
Mega Man movie.
Remind me what this section's called.
You always forget this bit, don't you, Jason? This is called the catchy title of films that were released a while ago that we're going to talk about now because it's the same week they were released a while ago.
That's brilliant.
Thanks, mate.
I am never making a caption or title card for that.
Why?
RoboCop
RoboCop was the first one, Jason.
was released 30 years ago.
Get one line.
This week, Greg. July the 17th to be exact. It was released in the United States in 1987.
30 years ago?
It had a budget of $13 million. Guess how much it made?
Oh, how many? 13 million?
Yeah.
Oh, it must have 50.
53.4 million US dollars, Greg.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only problem with RoboCop is, as we all know, I think it went a bit too far when RoboCop 23 came out.
I don't think it went quite that far, but it was remade, wasn't it? 2014, I believe, and it just wasn't very good.
I haven't watched it.
I have. Wasn't very good.
Have you?
The original in 1987 was directed by Paul Verhoeven, written by Edward Neumeier and Michael Miner. Film stars Peter Weller, Nancy Allen, Dan O'Hurley, Kurtwood Smith, Miguel Ferreira and Ronnie Cox. It was set in Detroit, Michigan, and it tells the story of an on-the-beat cop who gets shot and nearly killed and turned into an experimental RoboCop.
RoboCop.
Brilliant.
It was a great film, but they just did too many.
Dead or Alive, You're Coming With Me.
Oh, here we go again. Impressions time with Jason.
What were the prime directives, Greg? Can you remember?
They were...
One was that you should never kill the...
Part man, part machine, all cop.
It's not on there, Greg.
Oh, that's the tagline, isn't it?
Yes. I can't remember the 5 directives, so...
Doesn't matter anyway. Doesn't matter anyway, does it?
No, it
Because we're moving on to the next one.
We are.
Do you know what the next one is, Jason?
Do you know what I really hated in RoboCop? I think it was the first one. When that character falls into all the acid, and then he gets out of it, and all his skin starts falling off. And anyway,
do you know which bit got me? Do you remember Superman 3?
Yeah.
Where the woman went into the computer and she got the wires wrapped around her.
We talked about that before. Horrible.
Anyway, speaking of Superman,
yeah, funny you should mention Superman, Greg,
Nice
because
link.
Superman 4 was also released this week. In what year?
1987. Can you believe it? The same. 30 years ago, this Superman 4 is.
Yes.
30 years. I still watch it now.
Well, of course I do. We've got the poster just down there, The Quest for Peace.
We've got the right way. It's a proper one, isn't it? What do you call it? A quad?
It is a UK quad. Filmed right here in the UK, Greg, in Milton Keynes.
Yes, because that's where Metropolis should be.
Yes, they did things like putting fire hydrants outside the bus station to make it look like America. And the bus station in Milton Keynes became the NATO headquarters in Superman 4. And I think the Daily Planet is an Argos.
And the American subway system was just the tube.
They've got a tube in Milton Keynes.
No, London.
Oh.
They branched out then, Jason.
Oh,
Spent
right.
some money on this one.
Woo. Anyway, we've talked about this before in the past on some episodes.
Because they put American posters up in the tube stations to cover up all the English sayings. Just thought I'd let you have that one, Jason.
And we all know the story of how Canon took over the Superman franchise for Superman 4 from the Salkind brothers, and the budget just wasn't there, was it?
And I've always said this, even though it was a complete disaster of a movie, it's still great. I still love it.
We love it.
30 years.
30 years.
How do you feel?
What date exactly was it, Greg? Let me have
July the 24th,
Fourth.
I think.
Had a budget of $17 million, made $36.7 million back. So it wasn't a complete flop.
That's amazing.
There you go.
I can't believe he made that much. Well done, Canon.
That's the end of another weekly scoop, Greg. We've scooped.
I'm scooped out.
You have scooped.
I'm absolutely scoopered.
Let's scoop.
Let's stop this.
Okay, that's the end of this episode. We will see you again tomorrow morning for Tea and Toast Saturday. Don't forget, we're not here on Monday again this week because of work commitments.